What is going on, everybody? Rocky Lee here with another video. Today we're going to be talking about War Arc Obito versus the Akatsuki and the 5 Kage. Here to help me out with this video today is my friend Arrow, who knows everything Naruto and Naruto related. Let's get right into the video. Right, so first things first, we gotta talk about some rules. Obito would be fighting them in 4 waves, organized by strength from weakest to strongest. Other than that, there are no rules. Next, Arrow's gonna give us a little background and scaling on War Arc Obito, so we get a sense of just how strong he actually is.
Yeah, so the best way to describe War Arc Obito is just busted. He's strong in pretty much every way you can think of. When it comes to chakra, he can simultaneously control like 6 tailed beasts and all their Jinchuriki. He can make them transform at will. He can also spam Mangekyo Sharingan patterns that are like, if you saw any other Uchiha do it, they would instantly go blind. Some people can attribute this to Hashirama cells, but no one should be able to use them that much, especially with the chakra he has. So it does give us an indication that he does have pretty large chakra reserves. In terms of durability, this is where he really shines in the War Arc. He survives getting stabbed through the heart by Kakashi. Then he survives becoming the 10 Tails Jinchuriki. Then he survives having the 10 Tails ripped from him. And then he survives performing Rene Rebirth. And then he throws hands with Kaguya Otsutsuki. This is all in sequence, and these are 4 different things that would kill literally anyone else who's not 6 paths level. So it's kind of crazy. Strength-wise, he can 1v4 Guy, KCM Naruto, and Perfect Jinchuriki B, and War Arc Kakashi. This is all with no difficulty, and he only ever gets hit because Kakashi has the one known counter that came from Obito himself. He can also do things like summon the Ghetto Maza, and he has barriers strong enough to contain the Ghetto Maza. So when it comes to Obito's scaling in the War Arc, to say he's no joke would be an understatement.
Thank you, Arrow, for that in-depth look at the power scaling for War Arc Obito. This should give you all a sense of just how powerful this version of Obito is, and as a side note, I'd like to point out that when talking about the Akatsuki, that does not include Obito for obvious reasons. So let's talk about Wave 1. Zetsu and Hidan are toast right from the start. Arrow, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so Zetsu's not even Jonin level, and it's stated that he's only there to gather intel for the Akatsuki. Like, he's never been much of a fighter, so he's just instantly getting blitzed. He doesn't stand a chance. The same goes for Hidan. He dies pretty much to a Jonin Azuma, and the only reason he gets out of that encounter alive is because Kakuzu is able to sew his head down back together. Like, he just would have been done to a Jonin Azuma if Kakuzu wasn't there, which is like it's a very big anti-feat to say the least. In this category, we also have Conan, who has like pretty much 0 feats with a ton of prep time and billions of resources. Yeah, so against a much more powerful Obito, she's not doing much. We also have Mei here, who can't even really touch Reanimated Madara, and Reanimated Madara is comparable to War Arc Obito. Now, whether you think one's stronger than the other is not very important. They're just comparable, and Mei can't even touch one, so she's not going to be able to do anything against Obito either. Deidara, also in this category, he scales lower than Hebi Sasuke, who's like ridiculously less strong than War Arc Obito, and even with his final attack, C0, that's like Jubi Blast level, Obito can just Kamui out of that and survive with no difficulty, so he's getting blitzed too.
I could see a strategy happening where they coordinate to somehow use Hidan's attack to get some of Obito's blood and get him into that jutsu. That could work.
Yeah, and we've also seen pretty slow people dodge Hidan's scythe. So like, if
Obito could easily.
If he saw the attack from Hidan coming, there's no chance it hits. They would have to catch him by surprise, like a lot. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Shikamaru is able to dodge Hidan's scythe, and I don't think I need to explain why Obito is faster than Shikamaru.
So we can both agree. Wave 1, Mei, Zetsu, Hidan, Conan, Deidara. Nobody from this team is going to be doing any serious damage to War Arc Obito. They're all just going to get obliterated right from the start. Well, I shouldn't say from the start. They can still strategize, but it's not looking good for this team. Next up, we've got Wave 2 with Kisame, Gaara, Kakazu, Sasori, and Orochimaru.
Yeah, so I guess we'll start off with Kakazu. He kind of gets destroyed by Naruto's Rasen Shuriken, which is like that's his level of durability.
Yeah, he got hit
Obito,
once and it was over.
yeah, he was like absolutely he was done for. Like it destroyed his cells on a molecular level. Um Obito, I'm pretty sure he actually tanks a few Rasen Shurikens or other variations of the Rasengan that are stronger.
He
And
has
it's
tanked Rasengans before. A
yeah,
Rasen
like
Shuriken, I don't know, but he could absorb one for sure.
oh yeah, he also has all Renegon powers too, which means he can just absorb any jutsu. But the point is, he's much more durable than Kagazu, and he has stronger attacks. He's not going to provide a problem for Obito at all. Next on the list, we have Sasori. Sasori's not going to do much either. He can avoid Sasori's poison. He can avoid the third Kazekage puppet, and literally anything else Sasori has, all just with Kamui. So not much is being done there either. Orochimaru kind of gets one shot by a 13-year-old Itachi, who's stated to be weaker than a much younger and much less powerful Obito, so he's not going to do anything either. Yeah, and I think it's because his scaling is actually so weird. Like they have him getting like just Itachi looks him once in the eye as like a 13-year-old, and he just it's over. It's one move. He doesn't even try to fight back. Yeah, he definitely has like the best form of immortality we've ever seen in the show because it works. Like it's the only one that really works.
Better than Hidan.
Yeah, and also like whoever's body he absorbed or goes into, he can become stronger depending on that person. So that's why you might see him stronger than other people. But yeah, Orochimaru's not going to be much of a problem. Next on the list is Gaara. Obito can control 6 Shinchuriki at once, so he shouldn't really have a problem with like a previous Shinchuriki who doesn't even have the Biju anymore. Also, Gaara kind of loses to 5 Kage Summit Sasuke, who needs to be like saved or else he's gonna die by a significantly weaker Obito than Obito in the War Arc, so Gaara shouldn't be providing much of a problem either. Next is Kisame, who is like in shock, pure shock that Obito is able to control Yagura, who is like his village's leader. And he also takes orders from Obito. It's kind of self-explanatory. Well, I do think Kisame would be able to put in probably some damage on Obito. If he's not in Kamui state, I don't see him doing much of anything useful at all. You definitely get a sense of that from him. And I mean, like, I really do want to reiterate, he was like very surprised that anyone was able to control Yagura at all. Like a perfect Jinchuriki, who perfect Jinchuriki are like pretty much immune to most Genjutsu. So being able to control one with just a base Sharingan for years and no one notices, that is insane.
Coming in next, we've got Tsunade, Pain, and Itachi with Wave 3. This team's going to be a little more difficult as we go up higher in the tiers here.
This is going to be where people start providing more of a problem for Obito, but they're not really going to be able to like do anything serious to him, at least I don't think. I think he gets through this with like fairly low difficulty too, even though it's a higher difficulty section. For Tsunade, 100 heals, which is like her main thing, is pretty much just a worse version of Obito's Kamui, like not even really comparable in how good it is. And Obito destroys War Arc Sakura, who's implied to have surpassed Tsunade by that point. So she's not going to be providing much of a problem either.
This team right here that you mentioned, Arrow, is kind of interesting. We've got Tsunade, who's by far one of the best healers out there. Then you've got Pain, just a complete powerhouse. And then you've got Itachi, one of the all-time best strategists. If I had to put a team together to take down Obito, this might be it.
Yeah, I do see where you're coming from that. Like, for an example, they have a lot of revive abilities in just this one level. Tsunade is like the best healer ever.
Right.
Which she is. Pain can revive people from the dead with Rene Rebirth, and he also has
his 6 paths, so you know he could have multiple more bodies out there to help out.
He has 6 paths. He can have multiple more bodies. He can throw those bodies into, I don't remember what it's called, but just the giant statue that spits up the bodies.
They could have people to sacrifice essentially and bring back.
Yeah, they have like, they're definitely going to be the most time-consuming team against Obito. But like I said, Obito doesn't have any problems with the War Arc Sakura, who's implied to have surpassed Tsunade by that point. For Pain, Obito literally doesn't break a sweat. against KCM Naruto, and Pain gets demolished by a Sage Mode Naruto, who's narratively implied to be much weaker. For Itachi, a One-Eye Toby rivals this Itachi, so a significantly stronger Obito shouldn't have problems. If it was an Edo Itachi, I could see where points are being made. Maybe even an Edo Nagato, I think where Obito may have some problems. But since we're going with the Akatsuki when they were formed, with these base versions of Pain and Itachi, there's just not going to be too many problems here. Although the teamwork, when factored in, could be a problem.
Now, I do have to say that Obito is definitely going to start taking some damage beginning in like wave 2. Then towards wave 3, he's definitely going to start showing some signs of wear and tear. But he's still not going to be anywhere near, close to death or anything like that. Wave 4, he's definitely going to be down there, but they're like overall, like we keep saying, it's no contest. Obito is going to come out on top on this one.
Yeah, 100%. Like they should be able to weaken him for the final fight, and they should be like the tiers before this aren't going to do any meaningful damage to Obito.
Yeah, but once he gets to tier 3 here, he's definitely going to be messed up a little.
Like maybe Kisame might be able to do something if everyone else before him distracts Obito well enough.
I don't see Obito going into battle against Itachi and coming out unscathed. He has to take some form of damage out of that interaction right there.
I have to think at this point, Itachi also has Kodo Matsukami in his possession, which is like the second strongest genjutsu of all time. So that could also be a factor if he can get Kodo off on Obito. I don't think he can, but Itachi is going to put some form of like meaningful damage into Obito in this round. And the same thing with Pain. And I think Tsunade would be able to keep them alive while they're doing that.
For the final wave here, we have Onoki plus the Raikage. Now, a lot of people are going to think, well, it's only 2 Kage. You got to think about what kind of team this is. Arrow, go ahead and let them know about it.
Yeah, so with Onoki and A here, it's more so rather Onoki plus A, not Onoki and A, because when working together, you can have one of the fastest ninja of all time, the Raikage, significantly lightened by Onoki's lighted boulder jutsu, which just increases his speed by a lot and allows him to do a lot more. Also, Onoki is repping the particle style, which is insane, puts in heavy work. Yeah, they're definitely the strongest combination of anyone on this list, so it makes sense it would be the highest difficulty. But honestly, in terms of how they fare against Obito, I don't see them coming out winning. Particle style can be avoided by Kamui, just like pretty much anything else. And a KCM1 Naruto is faster than A. Obito keeps up with much faster Narutos easily, so Onoki plus A speed added to the equation shouldn't be too much of a problem for him.
So in conclusion, today we learned that War Arc Obito absolutely obliterates the 5 Kage and the Akatsuki.
I want to reiterate one more time, the whole like multiple people versus just Obito, it's not going to be too much of a factor in this because Obito's shown time and time and again that he can take on multiple powerful opponents at once. Like I said, when he 4v1'd Guy, Perfect Jinchuriki B, KCM Naruto, and Warwick Kakashi. So he can take these solo fights. And also, he's not necessarily going to be solo because this version of Obito has the Ghetto Maza statue and 6 Jinchuriki, all who can transform into Tailed Beast state. So it's gonna be like him plus his 6 paths with all the Renegon powers, everything, his durability, all the crazy feats he has. It's not like someone who can just be overwhelmed by numbers, all right? He starts a war with the entire world with one other dude. He's not too concerned about numbers in this.
Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you enjoyed the content and you'd like to see more, be sure to follow me on TikTok and Twitch.